the live stream, you're going to get a notification asking for permission. Good morning. On behalf of our organization, we are so excited to be here today on this international interview with Dina-Marie Weineck, who is going to be sharing with us. And first, before starting this amazing exchange that we are going to have, I would like to follow with a moment of silence in respect to the Ukrainian people to the current and actual situation. Thank you so much. And to start with this international interview, I want to say how honored we are to have Dina-Marie Weineck today with us. During 2020 and 2021, our organization had the pleasure of working with Dina, and both possibilities were accomplished. And what we first saw as barriers became the bridge for our success in supporting communities in South America and other countries through music education. So for those who haven't had the opportunity to see your work, Dina, or to know you, could you please share about your background and how these particular experiences have taken you to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you and the entire foundation for inviting me onto this series. It's always a pleasure to be in one room with you, and it's always a pleasure to work with you and with the community that you're fostering internationally. I also want to thank you really, truly from the bottom of my heart for taking a moment to honor and stand in solidarity with the Ukrainian people. To your question, I'm currently a coach for leaders, for creatives, and for business vagabonds. I'm one myself. And when I work with clients individually or in teams, I work to unleash and reveal bold possibilities and set people up for realizing those possibilities. I really come from a place where I believe that everybody is given the resources and tools, knowledge, and support they need to create that which they want to create on this planet Earth. And sometimes it just takes a little tweak, a removal of a block to get there. Now, my background is somewhat diverse. I'm originally from Leipzig, Germany, and I did a lot of musical theater growing up. And that has really taught me the power and the influence of storytelling. And that's something that I utilize very deeply and profoundly in my own business when I think about my own business vision, of course, also my coaching. After graduating high school, I moved to the United States and I went to school at Syracuse University for music and music business and entrepreneurship. And really began to forge my own way. And I kind of, without knowing it, started to coach folks. As a resident advisor, I definitely began to hone those muscles. And then I also took on leadership positions at our concert hall and began to manage the community that grows around a concert in a concert hall, and began to train my colleagues as well. So another hint that coaching might be a good thing for me. But true to my nature and true to my dream, I really wanted to work in orchestra management in Los Angeles. So I moved myself to Los Angeles and got the perfect job, right? Dream accomplished, got the perfect job working in orchestra management, worked in fundraising and community engagement. And that didn't turn out to be what I wanted to do, because it really kept me from doing a lot of the things that fuel my passion and just fuel Dina. And that is to be able to travel, to be able to work on my own time and clock, and to be able to really choose who and how I want to work with people. And like I said before, ignite this possibility and realization of possibilities within others. And as dearly and deeply as I do love orchestras and orchestra management and classical music, sometimes the industry appears to me like it's this big Titanic. It takes some time to pivot and to take a turn, and I'm too impatient for that. So I left and started doing what I do now, and I started doing coaching before I even knew about the profession. And then by the time I hired my coach, "You're a coach." I'm like, "What's a coach?" And she said, "Well, what you do, working with people one-on-one and working with teams and helping them realizing their dreams, that's what some people call coaching. You can get paid for that." I was like, wait a minute. And I can travel and do that and get paid for that? Sign me up for that. So here we are.
Amazing. And it's so interesting because I want to share, I met Dina at the Sphinx Connect 2020, and it was an extraordinary moment at the end of the whole Sphinx Connect.
It was actually the morning after.
The morning after, it was just the day that I was leaving. And we had this conversation and we started to realize that at the moment, the purpose and the vision that I had to establish this organization was very aligned with the things that she did for her career and the people that she supported, everything that she had accomplished. And immediately after that, we reached out to each other, and I want to make this visible to people. Dina was one of the first person who supported us, Elena and me, in the start of the foundation. And look at us now, all the guidance, everything that has been accomplished has a big part of that knowledge and that guidance. So following with that, I would like to ask, given the state of the world and knowing what we do as musicians, knowing what you do as a coach, what are the responsibilities of artists?
I mean, that's a small question. That's only going to take us like 30 seconds. No, it's a really, really important question. I think it's the question that a lot of industries and a lot of humans really have to face and ask themselves right now. First and foremost, of course, businesses, entrepreneurs, but also within this very community, we as artists and musicians, I think, are not just at, but beyond this pivotal point where we can just play our instrument and get paid for that and then go home. As an artist, as a business, we create a community around us. And within that community, we are an authority. We're someone who people listen to. And therefore, what we say matters. And what we say carries a lot of weight. And I think that in the current situation, we see just how powerful not just politicians' words are. We see how powerful the words spoken by musicians, by entire industries, by sports organizations, and by private companies, how important they really are and that people listen to that. So I think that we always talk about how deeply music can impact an audience, and it moves us and it touches us and it awakens our soul. Well, let's use that. Let's use that to really speak truth and speak to our civic responsibility. I think we're at a point where it's not just okay for individual artists, for private companies to have an opinion, but it's really at a point where it's mandatory that we share that opinion in service of our community, in service of the betterment of the world. And really where that comes from is there is a whole country right now fighting for their sovereignty, for their freedom of speech. Now, a lot of what artists in the Western world, a lot of what artists and entrepreneurs get to do is because of that sovereignty. It's because of that freedom of speech. I think it's our responsibility to really safeguard that and stand up to those who threaten that. And music is very, very beautiful. It's a universal language. And we can use that in a very intentional way, I believe.
Absolutely. And that makes me think a lot about us as educators and also people who is trying to have a voice, to be heard. It's like the slogan of our foundation is just giving opportunities to those with an open heart that are waiting to be heard. So knowing that we have this power and that we have this channel known as music, we can see ourselves doing what we love and doing what we think is correct. And my question would be, what happened then when we see this insatisfaction in musicians, artists, educators, when their dreams now became their nightmares? So what to do when your dream turns out to be a nightmare?
Yeah. I mean, I very briefly alluded to this in responding to your first question. My dream too turned out to be a little bit of a nightmare. So I think I can quite deeply relate to that. And believe it or not, I think that there's connections to the previous question as well. You know, taking stands and living up to a what I call civic responsibility that we have as businesses and artists really means that we need to be and live and act in integrity with ourselves. Now, integrity means that we believe, say, and act upon one and the same thing. Being out of integrity means to believe one thing, say another thing, and then act based upon whatever gets you the most money. That can get you the most money in the short term. That can also make a great career in the short term. To throw integrity, throw your own values overboard and do what, and now I'm going to hone in on this industry, to do what others, what the industry, what your conservatory tells you to do just to get the job, to win the audition, etc., to gain a good reputation. And I think that quite often what happens when people secretly and in silence aren't happy with what they're doing, with what they have pursued for, in many cases with musicians, for decades. And they find themselves being unhappy and joyless in their mid-20s, maybe even later on in life. This industry, and this is an appeal to the entire industry, you mentioned educators, makes it really hard for someone, for an individual to speak up and say, I'm not happy here. I would like to pivot. I would maybe like to leave the industry. I would like to get off stage and start being a stagehand. I would like to be a manager. And there's all those stigmas that that are present in this industry. And I think that makes it really hard for someone to speak up. But even before that, of course, comes the individual level. And what I would offer to everybody here, what I try to live by, what is the reason why I've moved and become what they say a digital nomad, and why I've been able to collect the strength and the bravery, quite frankly, to leave what my mentors believed to be the perfect job for me, was that I was being authentic and true to myself. And I listened to what my body and my soul were telling me. And I would offer to everybody listening to this, what is your soul really telling you? What is your body asking you to provide? What is it that you really want? And so often, especially, listen, like when I first came to Los Angeles, I think it was 15. And I made a vow to myself at 15. I said, I'm going to come back to the city. I'm going to live here and I'm going to work here. And then 10 years later, I did all that. I lived there. An internship got turned down because they wanted me as a full-time employee. I picked up work. I had a nice apartment. I had a great relationship. I had a nice car. I freaking hate it most of my life because it wasn't in alignment with what I truly wanted. So, you know, I could go on and on and on about this, obviously, but I'll try and tie this up in a few things. A, it's okay to change your mind. And B, sometimes we don't know what we want because we've been following a childhood dream or we've been pursuing someone else's dream, doing what we believe others want us to do. And it's okay for you to take a moment and really, really ask yourself, am I happy? Is this what I want? What else do I want? And then not be afraid of the answer. And I'll say one last thing. Sometimes we don't know what we want, and that's okay too. And what I would invite you to really not just fall back on, but focus in on is, how do you want to feel? How do you want to be in this world? Who do you want to become in this world? And that can open up a whole wealth of things to do. That's really how I found my path into coaching as well. When I quit my job, listen, I quit my job and went backpacking. I was just done with working for other people. And while backpacking, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm gonna do my very best to be helpful to people. I'm gonna want to get in touch with people who are really blazing a trail. Get in touch with people who use their idea, their innovation, their artistry to unite and uplift communities, whatever that looks like. And that's what became my litmus test. I said yes to every opportunity that allowed me to do exactly that, to unite and uplift communities. What I did looked a variety of different ways. I was an executive director of an orchestra here. I produced a conference, I produced a festival, and really fell into coaching. So it's okay. It's okay when you don't know what you want to do, what that looks like. But start with who you want to be and what you want that to feel like, and then use that as a compass.
I must say that I'm very inspired, and I know that many of us are. And I would like to share with you, our executive director, Elena Colbert, just wrote this during your speech, and that if we minimize ourselves to identify only in our career or our specialty, we lose the multidimensional person. In that moment, we become only a commodity or a service and not longer a person with values and beliefs and higher purpose. Humanity requires the whole person, not only one aspect of it. And that touches me so much because Elena is always reminding me of all these other things that are so needed in the work that we do, and that sometimes we are not able to see it because of very basic things. For example, our backgrounds, the realities that we come from, what my family is in comparison to who her family is. And all these aspects that we call them, you know, with a technical terminology, social, economical, or geographic characteristics are so important to determine all these things, because I resonate so much with what you are saying. And it's so interesting to see you in LA, then going back to Germany, and now in a different place, which means that we are not beings that can stay static. And of course we find comfort, but I also feel that way. Look, I come from Venezuela, I'm coming here, then I'm going back to Venezuela. I want to do things, and I feel so motivated to share everything that we have discovered. So
Yeah.
I would like to know what is your opinion about, if I know that I'm doing all these great things, and sometimes I know I love what I'm doing. I know this is it. And I see the result, and I can see the light in the eyes of all the students and communities that we are supporting. But how do you find or seek joy in everything you do? And is that something that we should pursue? It's just having to enjoy everything a necessity?
Mm. Well, I'm going to give you the least satisfying answer. It depends. So a few things here again, just responding to what you said before. You know, one thing that has really drawn me to you all those years ago when we met at a conference, and has been just so profoundly inspiring about your work and how you approach your work, is that you're being authentic and you bring all of you to all of your work. I've never, I know, like, obviously we've talked about this, but I've never once seen you showing up just as a violinist or showing up just as a founder of this foundation. You've always brought all of you. And that is such a great virtue. A virtue that, by the way, every single person living on this planet Earth has. And you stand as an example. You, Sam, I think you stand as an example to all of us, as someone who has really to its greatest potential unleashed that virtue, and to really come from that place of, I'm going to bring my all. And that's also, now responding to your question, how do you find joy in everything you do? Does there have to be joy in everything that you do? Joy to me is not something that you find. Joy to me is a way of being that you can commit to. So listen, was it joyful for me to leave my family in Germany a mere 16 driving hours away from the war? Nah, that wasn't joyful. Is it joyful to receive a no from a potential client? Nah. Is it joyful to see a founder, not a founder, is it joyful to see a funder leave and no longer support the foundation? Yeah, that's not joyful. So of course there are going to be hard moments in what you do. And rather than seeking joy, what I would say is that we really need to look at, what am I passionate about and why am I doing this? Like, if all you're in pursuit of is joy, the moment you hit a roadblock, and I guarantee, there are a few guarantees I give out. I guarantee you'll hit a roadblock. The moment you hit a roadblock and you're still seeking joy, you're probably gonna crumble and turn around and try and do something else, right? And that's what's commonly known as, oh, he's just procrastinating. Oh, she's not committed very well. Oh, like they just dilly-dally and they can't stick to anything. Whereas when you really put yourself on a path of, on a purposeful path, on a path wherein you pursue a vision being a version of life, not just your life, but a version of life that is better, that is more united, that is more peaceful, then you're pursuing a purpose. And a purpose, or the pursuit of the purpose, can get you through the tough times, I believe. And I'll say too, on a personal level, growth doesn't happen inside the zone of comfort. Growth doesn't happen when everything is joyful or joyous. Growth most often happens when you're going through a shitty time. And in that shitty time, now you have a choice. Am I going to utilize this as an opportunity, or am I going to fall victim to that? Falling victim to a shitty time, that might seem like the easier thing to do. But seeking the opportunity within this shitty time, that oftentimes opens up the door to joy, to fulfillment.
Is really moving, and I feel so connected, because I am from a different generation. We also teach the coming generation, and personally, I always ask, what is it needed? What do they need? Because we currently, as educators or in anything we do, we made the mistake to, this is what I think they need, or this is what is needed because we see a trend going on. But actually, we are not giving ourselves the opportunity to listen. And we have talked about this in the past, and I'm going to touch 3 points. Number one is, Dina always talked to me between the difference of motivation and inspiration, what it is like being motivated and what it is like being inspired. Number two, every time we do something, we not always have to know why, but we have to know what is the motor for that. And it meant so much to me, because I was always trying to conceptualize everything so I could have a clear answer to everything. And it's very funny, because for the people who know me, that's pretty much how I used to see things. So before I ask this question, I want everyone here to come up with questions. If you have a question, please just let me know. You can raise your hand. But before that, Dina, would you please honor us and share with us, what are your coming projects, what you are doing, how can people get in touch with you? And before following with the next section of this interview, I want you to share all these mechanisms for us to be closer to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the question seems so easy, and I have to say, like, these are crazy times, right? So my number one project right now, and I share that with my community also, is coming to terms with what is our civic responsibility as business owners, and how do we act upon that? And that's taking precedence right now. I speak about this very vocally in my blogs, in my newsletters, and also on social media, and I'll continue to do so. So to that end, if you just want to be a part of the conversation, start a conversation, whether that's online or with me one-to-one on a call, I'm very open to that. My door literally is always open, I should say, my virtual door. And you can reach out to me via email or via any of the social media or my website, rather than spelling everything out because, hey, those are German names. Why don't we just add all of those things in the comments? But it's myname.com. It's Dina-Marie-Weineck.com. And you can feel free to just get in touch with me one-to-one. Like literally, if you just want to have a conversation, a private conversation, then come on down. And in terms of projects, I work mostly right now one-to-one with teams of young organizations, both for-profit and non-profit. I will be putting on a few workshops for people who don't want to commit to working with me long-term. So I'll be announcing those. And I run a group for musicians only. So my work as a coach goes beyond the classical music industry, but I do run a group for musicians only, specifically for musicians who are looking to do more than just play their instrument. And we meet once a month, and there are some other supplementary resources available as well. So, but those are, I mean, that's how I work with clients. Really, my work is building a community and being of help. So again, if you want to have a conversation, then we'll make that happen.
Absolutely. And I will just repeat what our executive director, Elena Colbert, sent through the chat. All this information will be sent on an email with a follow-up, so you will be able to receive everything. I'm sure that Dina will share with us. There you go. I read mine.
Yeah. Hold on. It's, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. And now I would like to see if any of you have a question or something that you would like to ask before going and check the live stream on Facebook. So maybe Elena and Amanda, something that you have been thinking that you would like to bring today. Aroni.
Go ahead.
I'm just, my English is very awful actually, but I'm just grateful for you to take a moment to talk with us about all those things, because I have passed for many situations that was like the shitty things that you were telling us, and I think that those moments are the ones who really doing which really make us what we want to be. And that the things that you were saying, I'm really grateful for hearing those things. Thanks a lot.
You're so welcome. Do you mind if I ask you a follow-up question?
Yeah, sure.
So I'd love to just hear what you're doing, what you're up to, where in the world are you at, and what are some of your primary projects right now?
Well, I'm a violinist and also a teacher, and I spend my whole life like working in the violin. And well, no sé si me puedes traducir, Elena o Samuel,
Sure.
porque ya me quedé sin palabras.
Sure, I can do it for you, sure.
Sí. Bueno, que le quería decir que a veces como músicos tenemos este mal del violín que llama Hoppe, ¿no? Como que todo tiene que ser por un fin. Quiero tocar para esto, quiero tocar para pasar una audición, quiero tocar para hacer un concierto. No sé si llego hasta aquí para que traduzca.
Sure. So she's saying, as a violinist, we all suffer from this terrible curse. We are violinists. So we are doing this so we can achieve this. We play this so we can get here. So we have to practice this way so we can get an audition. And you want to continue?
Entonces, cuando no lo logramos, entramos en un espacio vacío. Ya no sabemos qué hacer o por qué lo hacemos. Y creo que es fundamental que las generaciones de ahora no se pierdan la magia de la música.
Okay, so, and then when that doesn't come up as we wanted, so we did the audition, we didn't get in, then we start finding ourselves in an empty space. Now we actually realize we don't know why we did that, or we don't know what we are looking for. We don't know what is next, and we start panicking. And she mentions that it's very important for her to remind the new generations what is the actual purpose of enjoying music and not feeling every task.
Yeah, it's like what happens with the magic of the music. When
your English is perfect. Speaking
my
English.
English, I don't know. But it seems like sometimes it's lost. We stop enjoy what the wonderful things of doing music.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that. And thank you so much for sharing that. And I agree with Sam. Your English is perfect. See, something that might be helpful to you and really to everybody listening in on this is in life, and especially in school, when you're still in training, oftentimes there are things, seasons, hours that you sit through and like, what's the freaking point of this? Right? And a question I like to ask myself to really bring myself back to being intentional about my time, about how I'm being and showing up to every minute of the day is, what is something I can discover about myself? Or after this call, which you can ask yourself is, what have I discovered about myself today? And as a result, what action can I take? And then bring all of this back to motivation and intention and integrity. That's how you can implement it, right? That's how you can really begin to live a purposeful life, one where you don't just have peaks of joy, but a steady upward stream towards purpose.
Absolutely. So we have Anne-Marie, please. You are welcome to turn on your microphone and establish this set of communication here. There you go.
Yes, so thank you for your talk. I think it's very inspiring what you said.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And my question is because I'm like studying in Germany to become a school teacher, which is a very safe job in Germany, and which is something that you can do with music, that you can get money at the end. But I'm right now in my master's actually, and I feel like it's nice, and I did do some practicas there also, and
internships.
Yeah, internships, but I discovered that it just isn't my thing actually. But because of the studies are very intense, I don't have like really time to go out and think about what I would do. And in Germany, it's also very like complicated to change after you studied so long to do it financially like that. And yeah, do you have any tip how I could start from that point on to find what I really want to do?
I mean, a few things just to acknowledge you, right? First of all, I really want to acknowledge you for being aware of that becoming a music teacher might not be the end goal for you, right? Like just having that awareness already puts you ahead of a lot of people. Secondly, my mom's actually a teacher. She's also in the German public school system. And so I intimately know all of the good and the bad about it. And of course, it's a very stable job in Germany, right? And what the question I have for you, and you can start to answer the question now and then keep pondering it later, is, as you go through these very intense studies, you take your exams, you go and do your referendariat, your internship. I want you to take note of the little moments that really fill you up with joy. The moments where you say, if I could do this all day long, and on top of that got paid for it, I would be set. When I pose that question, is there anything that comes to mind immediately?
Well, right now, I discovered that I'm really happy with just playing, because I'm also doing a second bachelor right now to just performing. But yeah, if I think just of a job, for me, it's like really important to get money. I don't know, it's just point for me, and to have like holidays in school, but I don't like the actually job because I think it's too crowdy for me. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
So what aspects of the job that you're studying for are things that you'd really like to keep?
I think just doing music and like helping people, but maybe not so much people at once. Because it's just really difficult to react to all 30 kids in a classroom when you're, just getting one or two that are really with you, but the other ones are just doing something else. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing and what you say is you like the steady income, financial stability. You like ample time off. And you also really enjoy working with people that kind of bring their all to a lesson, which of course typically you don't get in a classroom. Is that true?
Yeah, that's really sums it up. Thank you. Yeah.
So the question becomes, and that's a question I'll send you home with. And again, if you want to continue this conversation, then just reach out. But the question becomes for you, how can you take that and make something of that? How can you, even in your current job, in your referendariat, how can you integrate more one-to-one work into your already existing class schedule? Is there something that you can do as an extracurriculum, an AG-Angebot, Ganztagsangebot? Are there one or two students that you can support in a more intimate, more one-to-one way? And then as time allows, maybe after your exams are over, it becomes time for you to look at, well, what does financial stability mean to me? And what's the sacrifice that this type of financial stability comes with?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Thank you. I mean, right now I have like 1 or 2 years until I'm starting the referendariat, so I just have like half a year of teaching. But I really, will follow my thoughts in my next studies, I think. That's a very good question. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Something that you can take away from this, and everybody on this call, is sometimes we find ourselves being stuck in a situation that we don't like, or we pursue a dream, we get close to accomplishing the dream, we're like, oh shit, that's not what I want. Now, instead of just, giving up altogether and making a 180 turn, what you can do is to just dedicate 1 hour every week to really to introspection. An hour dedicated to yourself and to your dreams, where you become really honest and make a list of, these are the things that I want to do. And if I could, to the exclusion of everything else, these are the things that are important to me. These are the things that I need in life. That's the income that I need in life. There's so many questions that I can spin off of that, but I think you get the idea. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're composing your own job description. And then who knows, that might just manifest in real life. I
That's
wish you
great.
the
Thank
very, very
you.
best of luck with your continued studies, with your exams, and I hope that you find a path that is really fulfilling for you.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you very much for your help.
You're so welcome. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you so, so much, Anne and Dina. We have Cornelius Angosa, who is the founder of Bits and Books. He's having difficulties with the camera. He can only do audio. So Cornelius, if you are there, please feel welcome to turn on your microphone.
Thank you, Samuel, and thank you, Dina. Thank you, Elena, for all of this. Yeah, so here in South Africa, I am busy with nonprofit organization called Bits and Books. And what we do is we try to create environments where children can thrive musically, intellectually, and spiritually. And out of that, we have seen that most of our children are becoming children. They're growing. So the next phase in our programming or our life adventure is also just incorporating a business kind of thing where we are trying to create employment by skilling up youth with digital skills, online digital skills. So we want to create a space where young people can come and learn how to do web designing and just social media marketing and all of that, which could also create a competitive space for them at a global scale that they can earn what some internationals are earning. So that's kind of a leg or an arm, if you want to call it, that's developing under Bits and Books. But at the same time, we have a long-term goal of creating an orchestra here in the surf town of Jeffreys Bay. So it's very fulfilling. All of us are doing it on a voluntary basis. But I promise you, there's nothing that beats the fulfillment that we get out of this, because we are able to see young people come to our program and they develop into citizens that citizens that are contributing to the well-being of not only their community, but the world over. I guess that the most crucial thing that I'm looking at the moment is how does one build capacity in oneself, but also around oneself?
That's such a great question. First of all, thank you so much for sharing all of this, and thank you for doing the work that you do. Wow. When you say capacity and building capacity within yourself, say a little bit more about that. Do you feel as though you're currently at capacity? Or are you scared that you might hit capacity? What does that feel like in your body?
I am a go-getter, so I feel like there's always room to maneuver. But I also know that time is limited. One can only do so much. So I'm a lifelong learner, and I try to skill up in the strategic areas of where I see that the organization would benefit. So I wouldn't say I'm up to capacity at the moment, but I guess the question is more of what do I need to make sure that I am putting in place to continue growing?
What have you put in place so far to continue growing?
I currently am enrolled in an international management course, and I am still learning music on the side. I love picking up the guitar and also just a few other instruments that I feel like, okay, this is helping me to understand music more. And I love getting associated to people like the Samuel Vargas Foundation because I feel like they keep me on my toes. Seeing how professional they are such an inspiration. You guys are. I just want to put that out. And yeah, also just finding professional courses online that are in the direction and space where I want to see our organization go.
Okay, great. So you're doing, obviously you're doing all of the right things, right? Being a lifelong learner, it's just a beautiful thing. It's a very humble thing to do. And that to me is one of the greatest traits that a leader has to bring to the table, to be modest and humble and to own their mistakes and to know when to say, I actually don't know, and then to go and figure it out. And I really want to take this moment to celebrate you for that, Cornelius. That exactly that leadership trait is what will continue to build your capacity and the capacity of your organization within the community to keep growing. Now, spinning this thought a little further, doing alone won't get you places. Really what I think is available to you as an opportunity is to look at, as you grow, these branches of your business, to add this digital marketing arm to it, this building proficiency and digital aptitude within your community. I think a question you can ask yourself, actually there are two questions you should ponder, is question number one: as you build this organization, probably add staff, add funding, grow your board, etc., who do you want to be? Who do you want to be as a leader? And the answer to that is simpler than you think. I want to be someone that responds to problems like this. I want to be someone that connects to their staff like this. I want to be someone that responds to problems in this way. I want to be someone that is empathetic. I want to be someone that owns their mistakes. I want to be blah, blah, blah. And then beginning today, you can begin to come from that place of being every single day. And you can boil it down to one word. You look at this whole way of being that you strive to be, and you boil it down to one word. To me right now, that is love. I am being loved, I am being loving, and I am being loved. That's how I strive to approach every single situation in life and business these days. That's the place I communicate from. And our way of being is a source within ourselves that will never go empty. It'll never cease to be. So in a way that helps you build capacity, because you're intentional about who you want to be as you grow this capacity. And it also will draw the right people into your organization. Now, the second question I have for you, Cornelius, is as you ask yourself, well, who do I need to be to build this organization? How can I build more capacity to build this organization? What can I do? I want to invite you to flip the question. What's the organization's name? Bits and Books?
Beats and Books, yeah.
Great. So what does Bits and Books have to do for you? And this is similar to the question I asked Anne-Marie. In order for you to be fulfilled and for you to be healthy, what do you need to get from Bits and Books? Financially, in terms of time off, what support do you need on staff? What funding do you need? What boundaries are you looking to set for yourself? I like to think of capacity as that cup that's full. You can't give from an empty cup. We all know that. Do you all act upon it? Nah. Giving from a full cup means you give from the surplus. You can't scratch the impact together at the bottom of the empty cup. What you want to do is you want to give from the surplus. So in order to keep the cup full, you need to ask yourself, what do you need? And then take care of yourself first, as if you're the most important donor of this organization, as if you're the student that needs this organization the most, as if you are, I'm running out of examples here. I think you get the idea. You're the most important member of the organization. I can't see your face, so allow me to check in with you. Does this resonate with you? Is this helpful at all?
Yeah, it's very helpful. It's so significant to hear this. Yeah, I would love to operate from the cup that overflows. It does resonate a lot with what's in my heart, because I totally believe that an empty cup has nothing to offer except emptiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't give what you don't have.
Exactly. Let me ask you, why are you the founder of this organization?
Yes, I am.
Why did you found it?
Basically, three things. Number one, it was after I had traveled around Africa and I saw that we had a denominator of poverty that came out as a result of high levels of illiteracy. So I felt that there is power, and as I've seen how much power literacy brings about to an individual, it's liberating. So one of the pillars of Bits and Books is to make sure that we build communities that are literate. And then there is also just the issue of, the second thing was the issue of leadership. There's a dearth of leadership which aims to serve than want, you know. So I would like to develop leaders that serve and not just leaders that point fingers, go and do this, go and do that, but people that have such an inclination to see things as they would be and ask why not. Yeah. Yeah, and lastly, but very fundamental to all of this, is just the spiritual well-being of our constituents, because I believe that even within music, there's a powerful spiritual move that comes with any sort of music.
Absolutely. Yeah. The greatest way for you to build capacity at this moment is to really to lead by example, to be that servant leader yourself. And you don't have to try too hard, because I can tell you are that servant leader. So just keep living into and keep growing into that beautiful human and soul that you already are.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And from the bottom of my heart, very best of luck and success and impact and expansion for you personally, and also for B&B.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Dina. I think that this is also very moving for me, being the founder of another organization, and it just shows how needed these platforms and spaces are, especially now when empathy is one of the most needed values within the human, you know, and it's really valuable. So I know we have few minutes, so I would like you to, I have a question coming from a message someone is listening, and they ask, what is Dina's most important or peak moment in her career? What would you define
Oh.
as her peak? It's very interesting question. I didn't thought about that.
Mm. I haven't thought about this in a really long time, and I'm going to just go with spirit. That the first moment that came to me, I don't know that that's the moment I would share with you upon consideration. But intuitively, this is the first moment that came to me, and we'll see what else comes out as I begin to speak. First of all, thank you, someone, for this question. And so throughout high school, since the age of 6, I did musical theater on a semi-professional level. We went to European championships. We represented Germany and China. I personally played Little Simba. I was Tinkerbell. I danced the lead in Dirty Dancing. And really, those characters taught me a lot about life and about who to be in life. If you go to my website, you'll see what I mean. Now, one of the most memorable moments throughout all of those years on stage was when to me, completely unexpectedly, when my name was called for the Best Youth Actress Award of the European Youth Musical Theater Championship. I was like, who, me? I got Best Actress? I didn't even try. Like, I genuinely didn't know. I was 9. I didn't know that such an award even existed. I wasn't there to win. I wasn't there to go home with an award, an Oscar, so to speak, in my hands. It's not what I did it. I was on that stage because it meant something to me. This was public news at the moment, so I can share it now. We didn't have all the rights we needed to produce that musical show. And this was our last show. This was our last performance of The Lion King. And it was extremely emotional to us as an ensemble. And after I got the award, the actor who played Mufasa found me out in the lobby and knelt down on his knee and said to me, "My son, congratulations." And that to me just was a moment of unity. It was a moment of community. It was a moment of, it wasn't me who won that prize. The entire ensemble won that prize. And none of us did it to win a prize. None of us did it to win anything. We did it in service of one another. And that, I know why I'm getting so emotional talking about this, but I think that these are just really fucking emotional times. At this moment, this memory, I think, is very representative of these times, and especially of this conversation to what Cornelius mentioned about servant leadership. And going back to something I said earlier about integrity, if we are in this just to get something out of this, yeah, you might get money in the short term. You might get praise and a good reputation in the short term. It's going to fall short very quickly. However, if you are in this to give, if you're in this to be of service, if you're in this for the greater good, if you, out of love and unconditional love and out of service, give without expecting anything to be returned to you, you will be taken care of. And just to relate this back to Anne-Marie, yeah, you want financial stability. I do too. We all do. It's a very valid thing to be in pursuit of. It's important. And that to me was a really big shift. When I quit my job, I didn't have my W-2 job. I didn't have my bi-weekly paycheck, or in Germany, my monthly paycheck. I got paid whenever I served. And the more I served, the more I'm in service now, the more I help people truly without expecting anything in return. And by the way, that's what I mean when I say hit me up and we'll set up a call. Like if I can be of help, I'll be of help, period. And I don't expect anything for it. But the more you come from a place of service, from a place of building community, the more you'll be taken care of, sustainably and long term. And the greater your impact will be as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, I can see it in the face of everyone here. We are really, really engaged, really moved, and I see some clapping there. So this is really, really important to us. And I think that many people need to listen to this, and we will make sure that that also happens, because it's going to stay on our platforms and people will be able to access this interview. If they just came late or they had to leave, the full interview will be on our platforms. So I would like to give the word to our executive director to talk on behalf of our organization and close this amazing opportunity. I want to remind everyone that you will receive all Dina's information after the interview in a follow-up. And I'm so moved and so grateful that I think it's becoming harder for me to find the words now. So Elena.
Thank you for being here, Dina. Thank you also to everyone who shared and spoke, for being very open, because we're all able to learn from you too. When you share those things, and it's brave to be vulnerable in front of other people and on the internet. So thank you for that. I also want to say that these types of conversations and topics are very important to our organization, because we are working with musicians, but our goal is not creating musicians. It's creating whole people who are involved with music and who may or may not pursue music long term, but that call music something special and important in their life. And so it's really important to talk about the bigger picture, and not the bigger picture of music, but what it means with interacting with one another and being a worldwide citizen. And so thank you for leading this, Dina and Samuel. Thank you again, everyone who came. And we look forward to the next time.
And I just want to add to this, to all members of the foundation, to you, Sam, and to you, Elena, and to everybody who was here. I'm really echoing what Elena said. Pretty damn brave to show up and share a part of your soul with us on this call, like Elena said, on the internet, and with someone who's a total stranger to you. So I really thank you for being here, and most importantly, thank you for showing up for yourself and being willing to spend this hour, not just with me, not just with the foundation, but with and for yourself. I really acknowledge you for that. And with that, I just want to thank the foundation again for providing this space and all of the spaces that you provide to the industry and to our communities around the world, and send blessings of peace and health out to all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are So excited, so happy, and we are looking forward to create more platforms and spaces like this one in the future. So I'm going to proceed to turn off the live stream on Facebook, and then we can say bye here on Zoom.